This is Shooting USA, reporting the stories of America's shooting sports.
I've said before that the sport we're about to show you may be the most difficult gun sport of all the disciplines short of Olympic rifle competition. The sport is high-power silhouette. The requirements: shoot offhand out to 500 meters using a 40-power scope. I've tried it, and I can't hold steady on something the size of a boxcar with a silhouette rifle. But to win the national title, you must hold and hit rams, turkeys, pigs, and chickens, which are a lot smaller than a boxcar. There is thunder on the hill at the Ridgeway Rifle Club, where over 140 of the best offhand rifle shooters have gathered for the NRA High Power Silhouette Nationals. The shooters will test their skill in what may be the most difficult shooting discipline out there. The target sizes and ranges are staggering. Chickens at 200 meters. The pigs at 300 meters. The turkeys at 385 meters. And the rams at 500 meters. Everyone at this match has his or her own combination for offhand accuracy, and some can look very exotic.
It's a Nasika Bay action with a Packnor barrel, and then the weights, as you see here, are just a removable weight, so you can adjust them depending upon the conditions, what range you're shooting, uphill, downhill, wind, no wind, things like that. The idea is to have the versatility. I'm shooting a 107 Sierra for the first three, and then a 142 for the rams, Varget powder for the first three, and then reloader 19 for the rams.
In this game of high accuracy and mega power scopes, the last thing you would expect to see on the line is a set of ghost ring sights.
Well, I've always shot iron sights ever since I was a kid, and I did a lot of service rifle shooting across the course with the national match rifles with the NRA across the course. And I tried with the scope here a couple years and never could master the scope very well. And I did well with shooting the service rifle class in the silhouette, so I thought I'd give iron sights this year a try. And I went with the Centras because they have 1-minute click adjustments on the front. And a guy won't get lost keeping track of how many clicks up and down he's making his sight adjustments. If he just goes 1, 2, that's good, 1, 2, 3, that's another animal.
Top lady shooter Laura Peter has been shooting high power for 6 years, and her equipment is a big part of her success.
I have a Remington 260. It's on a 700 short action. I have a 30-inch Lilja barrel and machined with all the extra weight out on the end. I have a Loophole 24 power scope, and I think it's a Brown Precision stock. That's right.
No matter what the combination may be, all rifles must conform to the NRA standard. First, the rifle is weighed. The standard high-power rifle must not weigh more than 10 pounds. Next, the rifle is placed in the NRA standardized jig. First, the center of bore is established, then the height of the comb, length and width of the forend, and the depth of the trigger guard. Once the rifle has passed inspection, it is adorned with the official match compliance sticker. With all of that out of the way, shooters will step to the line and engage each bank of 5 targets twice, with local high school kids volunteering to reset the animals. A target knocked down scores 1 point, giving shooters a possible 40 points for each of the 3 days of the match.
For your first bank of targets, ready.
Each shooter and spotter team keeps track of the time for each string of fire. 2 minutes 45 seconds from the ready call, and at 2 minutes 30 seconds,
Fire.
But the spotter has a lot more to do besides keeping time. The spotters watch for and confirm the placement of hits. They read the wind by watching the mirage and give the shooter corrections to compensate. But it's when the hits aren't there that the spotter really has work to do.
I don't like to interrupt the shooter when he's doing well. When he's not doing well, that's when you have to calm him down and get him recollected in his thoughts and get his follow-through back in and find out what the problem is and why we're missing the animal.
Augustine Sanchez Jr. and his spotter rarely have much interaction. That's because Sanchez rarely misses his animal. Shooting the rams at 500 meters seems almost automatic for the young man with 4 high-power national titles. That was a light hit on a primer, the mishap that would derail most shooters, not Sanchez. At the end of the day, Augustine Sanchez Jr. is on pace for another national championship, 4 points ahead of second place, Derek Greenaway. I do get your email requests to know what cartridges competitors are shooting. Well, in the case of high-power silhouette, the majority of the guns on the line are chambered in .260 Remington. Then comes 7mm 08, 7mm BR, which was originally a bench rest round, and then a fair representation of .30 caliber in the .308 chambering. So the rule is send enough bullet weight fast enough to take the rams down at 500 meters, because it only scores if it falls. And coming next, some fall and some don't on day 3 of the championship.
Shooting USA is brought to you by Smith & Wesson. American made, American owned.
Remember the scoring rules for a silhouette match. 3 days of competition with the total scores of all 3 days added together to determine the champion. But in 3 days' time, things can change in northwestern Pennsylvania. Things like the weather. On the morning of day 3, the sunny conditions of the last 2 days have given way to cooler, foggy weather, with the threat of rain, but with no wind.
Right now, these are probably premier conditions right now because there's nothing there. Okay. It's like shooting in a vacuum right now. You can see that the fog's not moving, so there's nothing out there. The air might be a little heavier, that's about it.
These conditions may not affect the shots, but the fog will make seeing the hits almost impossible.
It's going to be tough to call your shots for a spotter because the turkeys and rams, the fog's won't be able to see the hits on the animals. But good hits you'll be able to see fairly well. And you can call them by the way the animal falls off the pedestal. You'll know if it's a center hit or, right or left.
With the shooting underway, those fortunate enough to have the chickens as their first targets are not having a problem. Augustine Sanchez is one of these lucky shooters, and he is taking full advantage. Another shooter with the good fortune of shooting chickens first is Joy Cox. Joy is in a head-to-head race with Laura Peter for the High Lady honor, and this relay will help her in the run for the final. Laura is not quite so lucky. She is starting out with the pigs, further out in the fog at 300 meters. But Laura and her spotter push through and keep the race for High Lady close. One shooter who does not seem to be under any pressure is Carlos Soler.
I live right outside of Jacksonville, Florida. It's a place called Doctor's Inlet, Florida. And I will be 82 on the 23rd of this month.
That's right, 82 years old and still shooting one of the toughest games out there. But why?
I think it teaches you gun safety. Safety is paramount in this game. Good sportsmanship. And I've met a lot of very nice people here. As long as you have a natural interest a mutual interest with somebody else, you're going to make friends with them, whether you're a stamp collector or whatever you are.
"20-year-old April Grove has an entirely different motivation for shooting high-power silhouette.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun and it's amazing. Whenever being a woman, whenever you beat a man, because usually men don't really expect it, but whenever you do it, it's amazing.
One man April will not have the pleasure of beating this time is the defending champion, Augustine Sanchez Jr. Heading into the final relay, Sanchez has amassed a 6-point lead over second place, Derek Greenaway. But that was what silhouette shooters call a ringer. It's a hit on the target, but the target does not fall. It doesn't score. The rest of Sanchez's first bank of rams goes according to plan, putting him only 5 rams away from another national championship. Another ringer. This is not the way Sanchez wants to finish his match. Is it possible the man who seems to have no emotion is feeling the pressure? His 6-point lead has already been cut in half, and Sanchez is struggling to hang on to what seemed to be a certain win. But even with the miss on that last target, his total is enough to hold off Derek Greenaway for the win.
I feel really good. I mean, today and also the other 3 days, we have some trouble with the weather in the morning. But, well, I feel, very well. I think it's the third in a row. So
on that last bank of rams, I noticed a couple of hits and the targets didn't fall. Did that rattle you?
Oh, a little bit, but, doesn't matter. In the overall, I won, so that's good.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
No question about it, Augustine. It's always a good thing when you win. Congratulations. And congratulations to Laura Peter on taking the ladies' title in this year's NRA High Power Silhouette Championships.